Oh, Lord, these boys are handsome.
This is the Dynasty Football Live podcast.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to our part 2 of our episode, which we are discussing our rookie superflexer rankings. This is the Dynasty Football Life with Jason, Nick, and Ty, and me, David. We're back to complete 21 to 40 of our rankings. We spent a little bit more time than we thought on the first 20. I think the next 20 makes it a little bit more interesting because these guys can really make or break your organization. And we have some interesting ones. And to start off this interesting whatever we're doing here is a
smooth
Laviska Chanel, which have him ranked as an average of 20. I had to rank him a little bit higher just to keep it honest. We're letting Nick, because he's a hater. I had him at 28th, significantly lower than the rest of us. So I'll let you take the lead, Nick. Obviously, last episode, you did express some ill will towards this gentleman, wished he was killed or whatever. I don't know, but I'm kidding. But yeah, so just I guess you can just kind of confirm what you said last.
Well, first off, I never loved his tape. Whenever I watched him, he ran slow at the combine. Yeah, he was injured, but he doesn't run fast on tape. He's not the one. I mean, DJ Chark isn't going anywhere right now with the Jags, so he's not going to have that WR1 potential there. There's issues at quarterback that could change. But one thing I'll say about Chanel, even though I'm really low on him, he's around. I don't have my rankings in front of me. He's around 17th for my wide receiver rankings. He's a guy I would probably target in best ball because he's going to get goal line touches. He's going to play some running back. He's going to play some wide receiver. My big issue with him, he's just not going to be consistent week to week. I'm not going to invest in him. I'll let someone else invest in him. He has some big boom bust potential, but he's not a guy that I really like.
That's fair. I think I probably like him a little bit too much. I got those rankings. I don't know about you guys, got a little bit tricky starting around 15 to even up to 25. Really got tricky to make. And I found some guys kind of ended up a little bit higher than I thought I would have them. Some guys ended up a little lower than I thought I would have them, but I had them up at 16. You got some very good points. And consistency is a very important thing. And that has me surprised that I have him as high because I am big on consistency at 16. So anything else to add, guys, on the Chanel? Any upside you guys see?
Well, he's got a lot of tools in his belt. He can play a lot of different styles. They can create plays around him. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not looking to necessarily draft him if at all possible. But if he falls to me in the back end of the second round, the start of the third round, definitely in the start of the third round, I would be 100% drafting him. But
yes.
The big issue for me is Jacksonville. Anywhere else, I would have been a little more excited about him. I still probably would have ranked him at 19. I'm trying not to let the landing spot really color my perception of him, but
don't hold that against him.
In Jacksonville, there is one receiver there.
Yeah.
There's going to be some garbage time.
You know what? For me, it's not even landing spot really. I'm okay with the Jacksonville landing spot. I think if they get the quarterback situation sorted, it's fine for a wide receiver too. I didn't like the player that much. Like Nick said, I didn't love the tape. I kind of wish I was a little bit braver and dropped him a little further down my rankings like Nick did.
I see.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, kind of. I'm a coward. Because,
me too, barely.
There's enough draft capital there. Just like, if I drop him below 19, I might look like an idiot. So I can't say that. But I don't really like him. I don't think he drops, like Jay said, end of the second, start of the. I don't think he drops anywhere near there. I don't think any of us are going to own shares of him.
No,
and I think that's fine. Like I'm okay with that. Somebody else can take that.
Well, don't worry, Ty. With your rankings, I'm the only one that'll look like an idiot if he hits. So don't worry about it.
I don't know if he's ever going to really hit as much as he's just going to be a useful NFL player.
That's possible too. Yeah.
I don't think I can't see him being a star and winning you leagues or anything like that. Like he's not some of the guys at the back end of our draft that could really blow up and make your team something special. I think he's going to be a guy just is an NFL player.
I think he's going to excel. I think he's going to excel in a shallow redraft league.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, an 8-team redraft, and you're going to pick him up in week 11 or something like that.
I think I think I would have liked Chanot a lot more if he would have landed with the Ravens, because I think the Ravens were the perfect landing spot for him, just the way they run their offense. That would have really intrigued me. But
Yeah, they might have used him better.
Okay. Well, Nick, he lands in Baltimore. What you're ranking him? He's 28th now. You have him?
I probably have him around the 19 range where you guys have him. He'd be way more interesting. I think he'd be probably around my 10 or 11th wide receiver then.
Okay, just curious.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Nick, look at my screen. The dog's taking a Chanot.
Perfect.
Doesn't come across well in the podcast. Check out our YouTube.
Use your imagination. You can think what the dog's doing.
It's pooping.
Well, I'll tell you what Zach Moss is doing, and I don't know what he's doing right now, but what he will be doing is running with the ball, perhaps, in the backfield of the Buffalo Bills organization. Jay, you have him at 23. Ty, you have him at 21. Mick, you love this guy at 19. 26 for me. I'm not too impressed, but I'm a big Singletary fan, so what can I tell you? He pisses me off that he went there. I don't know. Maybe I'm just taking it on. But anyways, Moss, I think we can all say that it's not a terrible landing spot. I think no. Was it you, Nick, that mentioned something that the GM said, or somebody said something about Zach Moss?
Yes. Yeah, the Buffalo Bills GM said that he's going to play the old Frank Gore role. So he's going to be seeing a lot of first down, second down, rushes. My one thought too is some people have kind of said, well, he's not going to get a lot of goal line touches because Josh Allen is the guy that takes it. But was Josh Allen running the ball at the goal line out of necessity? Maybe Singletary's not a big guy. Gore was terrible last year. They haven't had a goal line back. So I like the landing spot for Moss. He's a physical guy. He complements Singletary absolutely perfectly well. I really like him. He's still my number 6 or 7 running back for this draft.
What does he say to Singletary when he compliments him? Nice hair.
Yes.
Exactly that. No,
Right,
I think Singletary still touches him this year, probably next as well, but I think it's actually pretty close. And I do think Zach Moss is the goal line guy. So there's a lot of fantasy value there. As I'm a Singletary fan, I'm a Singletary supporter, and I kind of like the Zach Moss compliment because I was a bit worried that Buffalo was actually going to use a second round pick on the running back. So Moss actually salvaged a bit of value in Singletary for me. But I think Singletary and Moss, unfortunately, they probably eat into each other a lot, and neither one of them becomes a super safe start in any week.
I think so. I agree.
They're probably more bye-week type fill-in guys. Maybe a flex.
Yeah. RB3 kind of, flex sort of range. I think that's probably where it pushes both of these guys.
But I mean, we can all use running back depth, right? I mean, there's only 30 starting running backs in the NFL, so he's going to go high in some leagues, and
yeah, I won't get him. Yeah.
Apparently, there's 2 teams that Nick just hates the running backs for. But the Zach Moss and Singletary, neither of them are guys that I really want to own. I've been saying for quite a long time I thought that Singletary was going to end up with a timeshare. He did end up with a timeshare. I did like Zach Moss a little more before the draft. This landing spot does hurt me a little bit, although it does make the Bills a better team.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks, guys, for not indicating that I was wrong, because I've said, no, this is Singletary's backfield. They're not going to take a running back, and they didn't for a while. And then
you're wrong. You're wrong, Dave. I've been saying it for 6 months that they were going to draft someone. I was right.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course they were going to draft someone. You guys had them taking a guy in the second round potentially.
Yeah, right.
I think it worked out pretty well for Singletary owners, really.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. Like, they didn't take Taylor. They had something crazier like that.
There were.
That's what I thought was Jonathan Taylor. Is kind of what I was anticipating.
So we're all a little bit wrong and a little bit right.
I'm happy it wasn't Taylor, though.
Good enough.
As much as I would have loved to see him as a Bills fan, as a fantasy football fan, it would have hurt a little bit.
Well, because it would have hurt Taylor as well, right?
Exactly.
He's getting hurt. I don't like that. All right. What I do like is this next guy on the listeroo here is Chase Claypool. We have him an average ranking of 22.75. Me and Nick, again, I think we talked this before. We are a bit of a Claypool fans. We like the landing spot in Pittsburgh. Jay,
I'm jealous of Jay's background. I made my own.
Ty, yes. I know you're busy over there. You don't like Claypool. You don't like anything he stands for.
Would you like to have a seat on my couch, Ty?
I would, actually.
Now, Ty, are you the guy that's big on Deontay Johnson, or is that Jay?
I think both of us are pretty big on him. I think maybe I'm a little bigger on Deontay Johnson. I still like Deontay Johnson.
Now,
Chase Claypool.
Yeah, talk to me, big guy.
Yeah, it did hurt his upside a bit for sure. I just couldn't really justify moving Claypool up that much, despite the fantastic combine and the draft capital that was used.
You look great.
Like this was still a guy that people were talking about as a potential tight end as opposed to being a wide receiver. So I want to see how they actually use him. I think he might be another one of those way more valuable to his actual NFL team than in fantasy kind of guys. But I wouldn't be shocked if he became a fantasy star as well. I
know the type.
I'm just not there. Deontay Johnson, I'm still a Juju fan too. I don't know what's going to happen there. Like if they do end up moving on from Juju, like I think somebody in the Athletic reported, which I don't buy. If that happens, then we'll see. But as of right now, I think he's behind two really good wide receivers, and James Washington's still there too.
Do you not buy because the Athletic has an annoying paywall, or do you not buy because you couldn't read the full article because you didn't pay for it?
I'm literally not buying the Athletic.
Okay. Claypool, I'm with Ty on Claypool. I'm not super interested. It's too crowded for me.
Okay.
That's one of those guys. Like I could see him being a star, and if I'm wrong,
no, you can't. You don't see it.
I'm willing to be wrong about him. He's not somebody I'm drafting.
All right, that's fair. All right, Antonio Gibson, running back / wide receiver, I believe. We had him listed here as a running back because we have to choose one.
Washington listed him as a running back.
He did, so it wasn't even us. It was Washington. We're just following their lead, or did we put them and they go on us? Oh, anyways.
The latter, I believe.
Latter, yeah. So
I've been sending them new logos and team names for years, and they haven't changed it. So I doubt they're going to take my.
J21, 20. Nick 20 had him at 24. I had him a little bit lower. Antonio Gibson. I don't know. It's just a little bit too early for me to tell. I'm just not quite there yet where you guys are at with Antonio Gibson. Maybe it's the quarterback situation. I'm bigger on the other fella there.
Darius Carey, Bryce Love, McLaurin. Which position?
Yeah.
That's it, eh? Both actually.
So what Dave's alluding to is there's a very crowded running back room there. Adrian Peterson's most likely to be cut. You're probably going to see Bryce Love. I like Bryce Love. Out of all those guys, actually, Bryce Love's the most intriguing to me. Antonio Gibson, I like a lot. What's his name? That guy there is no longer there.
Thompson?
Yes. You got it.
Thompson.
Chris Thompson's no longer there. So there's
Jacksonville.
There's some targets opening up for him. It's just running back roulette there. That's my concern.
Without Thompson, there is a chance for sure because he was a receiving running back. He could definitely slip into that role. So that's the only thing I could see maybe happening. But
guys in Bryce Love will fight for targets or fight for touches, and I can see Gibson being more of a third down gadget play guy. But I can still see him.
Bryce Love are going to fight for the first ambulance.
That's true. It's true.
And Antonio Gibson, he's really tough to place because you don't really know if he's a running back. You don't know if he's a wide receiver. You don't know how they're going to use him. But his tape last year was electric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you look at his numbers, he had 71 total touches last year, forced 33 missed tackles, averaged 11.2 yards per run, and 19.3 yards per reception. That's insane.
Yep.
If this guy's used properly, I don't know if he'll be a consistent fantasy producer, but he's going to be a shit ton of fun to watch.
Yes, I just don't think it'll translate into, as you said, fantasy points as much. One of those guys, kind of like Tavon Austin. It just doesn't really translate.
Ding, 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 ding.
But fun to watch. Am I right, guys?
No, Tavon Austin was not fun to watch at a college.
He's not on a team right now.
Dave said Tavon Austin. Take a drink.
I've been drinking all night in anticipation that Dave was going to say Tavon Austin.
Now you have to stop. When I say you're going to stop.
I think Gibson is what Chanel thinks he is. That's the issue, and he's not Gibson. I mean, I love the landing spot for Gibson. He's going to play some wide receiver, going to play some running back. He's an electric player when he has the ball in his hand. So I hope he gets a lot of opportunities there.
Like a deal.
Just as a football fan, I would love to see him get some opportunities. That would just be fun to watch. Yeah.
Well, this isn't about fun, Ty. This is about fantasy points, right? Brian Edwards, wide receiver, Las Vegas. That's the Raiders, right? Let's see, 20th, 24, 31, 23. Okay, we're all kind of the same. Nick, you're not really. You have where I have Gibson, so we kind of swapped out those two guys, Edwards and Gibson. That's what happened there. Don't know how it happened, but it happened. So, what don't you see in Gibson? Not Gibson.
I think what what I'm not seeing, what others are seeing. When I've seen him ranked pretty high, I wonder if it's because people don't love. Now I'm having a brain cramp right near Ruggs in the first round, right? So they're more of an Edwards fan than they are a Ruggs fan. So maybe he's going a little bit higher, but I'm confident with Ruggs. I think Ruggs is going to hit. So I think that's why I don't think Edwards is going to be the guy there, but I have no issue with people taking him in the second round. No problem whatsoever.
See, I don't think it's necessarily like I'm big on Edwards, and it's not that I'm down on Ruggs. I just think they complement each other well. I think you have Ruggs as the speedy outside guy. You got the X receiver. It's going to be Edwards. And I think he can jump into that slot pretty quick. I liked Hunter Renfrow, but I think, he probably could usurp him. Mm-hmm. Edwards was a guy that people were really high on, prior to some injuries. So I think, there's a good chance that he never becomes anything, but there's also a chance that he's actually a big hit. You might be able to get him around, start of the third round. Yeah. I think we actually have him ranked higher than a lot of other groups that I've seen. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't pay attention to what other people think around here, right, Nick? Right? So we stick to our guns.
Exactly.
Right?
Nick's like, don't fucking lump me in with you.
No, he's not wrong because it's not wrong because I said I couldn't listen to any other Dynasty podcast because I didn't want to be jaded by what they're saying. I want to stick with what I want to know. So
it's like I didn't read any other textbooks in high school, and I don't care if I failed everything. Right. Stuck with what I thought.
Yeah. That's right.
Now I'm stuck with you three guys.
D is for diploma there, Ty. So that's all that matters to me.
Officer, fuck. Should have listened. All right, AJ Dillon.
I was wondering when Future M was coming in.
Damn it! It went on the wrong side.
I only see a little bit of Bender.
Come on, Jay. What a noob, eh? So weird.
I'll fix it.
Move your head. Move your head.
I'll fix it. Oh,
there we go.
Oh no! Oh no! What's happening?
Just
oh
kidding.
no!
Come back. We missed you.
There we
All
go. That's Bender. Hey, Bender. This is great podcasting, guys.
AJ Dillon is a great running back, or I used to think he was. I don't know. I got him pretty low at 32. You guys have him in around 22 to 25. I don't know. I lost. He didn't go where I wanted to go. I just kind of lost excitement for him. Maybe it's just, I just kind of let him slip in my rankings. We'll see. That could change. Let's see. Jay, you got him as the highest up at 24th. I have him at 30th. So it's like a huge gap. Again, it's really tough when it comes to these kind of positions. How do you feel about him in Green Bay? About? AJ Dillon.
I got him at 25. I got him at 25. Ty's got him at 22. Nick's got him at 25, and you got him at 32.
Yeah, well, that's what I.
26 overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy having the highest.
Sorry, Ty. Fine, you got the highest. How do you feel about him in Green Bay?
It's not a great immediate landing spot, but I think Green Bay's made it pretty clear that they're going to trend towards a run first attack, at least with the current coaching staff.
Well, they'll have to.
And I think AJ
quits.
Yeah, they're going to have to. And I think Dillon has a chance to have some goal line work immediately and actually build into that role. I think there's a good chance in 2 years from now that we're all going to be talking about how we maybe had Dillon a little bit too low. So that kind of forced me to move him up a bit.
Okay.
If I can get him around the 22 to 24 range, I'm very happy with that in Superflex.
I was just scared. I was just scared about the backfield there being a little overlogged. I was a little concerned that the touchdowns won't be repeatable out of the backfield. But then I looked at the wide receiver court. I thought, I have AJ Dillon too low. Someone's gonna have to run the ball in because Aaron Rodgers can't run them in that often. It's gonna be somebody, and Jamal Williams is the big loser here. So AJ Dillon, we may have him too low.
Yeah, that'd be me at the lowest. I might, and I felt that I had him too low, but I just, you know what? These aren't written in stone. Because people don't do that anymore because we have things that are easier to write in than stones.
You're missing the most important point about stones and other things. Nick and I actually agreed on something.
Sometimes.
Ding, 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 ding.
Actually, Nick
25. Is that the
Nick
first
hasn't
time?
really spoken too much on this one yet.
It might be. Let's Nick. Why do we agree on him?
Yes.
I don't know why we agree on him. Maybe it's, it's like winning the lottery, 1 in a million. But I think like Jordan Love, if you're willing to invest in AJ Dillon, I think he's a wise dynasty stash. Because I'm going to tell you, it clearly signals to me they don't plan on signing Aaron Jones. He's going to walk. He's going to be gone. So if you can wait and hold AJ Dillon, you might have a fantasy starter maybe 2 years from now. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I think you'll have a guy that you might actually be able to flex before that, but you might have a top 10 starter in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Think so? You think so?
Is that your reason, Jay? Is that your reason why?
Exactly.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
I'm proud of you guys.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Well, I was just scanning the
Okay.
list to see if there's another one we have exactly ranked the same, and I
Vaughn. You have Vaughn.
Oh, Vaughn.
Both at 18. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not going to count the top 10 because those are
It's Joe
harder to
Burrow's,
fuck up. Unless you're me, they're harder to fuck up.
Wild card, bitches.
All right, next on the list, Van Jefferson going to the LA Rams. He was our 13th ranked wide receiver. Jay had him at 24, Ty 25, and then me and Nick closer at 29 and 30. I'm still a little bit hesitant on there. I'm still hanging on a little bit to that Mr. Reynolds. So, I'm an idiot. So we've established that. But I know, Jay, you're big on Van. Not big on, but you're kind of excited about his landing spot. I think he's gonna slip in there right behind Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods.
I wouldn't say big on him, but I like where he landed. Being that I do not own any of the aforementioned player, it doesn't hurt me so bad. So I think with Van Jefferson, I like him to take over the Cooks role. I think he's gonna be pretty productive there. I like the offense. I think they did an okay job at the draft. They seem to address the offense quite a bit at the draft. Let's see if the O-line holds up. And good old Jared Gorf could have some time to throw the ball. But I think draft capital-wise, but the actual place that he went, I think it's a good spot for him.
It'd be fun. I mean, they like to pass the ball around.
And they did invest pretty highly in him, considering they had some pretty obvious needs other places. Offensive line comes to mind.
Yeah, they must like
they
him.
used a pretty high pick on him, so they must like him. Yeah,
they must like
so
him. Sure.
And Sean McVay, I mean, it wasn't that long ago everybody was talking about this guy as like an absolute genius.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if he gets back to that place. I don't know. I think he was probably just a little bit overhyped, but
he was 2 years ago as Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
They need a rebound season for sure to kind of say, okay, well, they are actually the real deal. Maybe they're not. So you're right.
I still think they have a good team, and they have to stay healthy. I think that's the key.
Yeah, that's good. They're right.
I think I read something that McVay said this week was that Reynolds was going to start in Cook's spot and Jefferson's going to be. He said that when he was watching Jefferson on tape, that it kind of reminded him of Cooper Kupp, so that he's probably going to slide in across all three wide receiver positions. So whether that's just coach talk saying he loves his Reynolds or whatever, and Jefferson's going to be the backup, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Cooper Kupp was a guy that you were probably taking end of the third round, probably in his rookie draft. Remember, that worked out pretty damn well. So
sure, yeah, Cooper Kupp in the slot, and then you have Woods wide out, and then you have Reynolds on the other side, and then you got Jefferson. It's the fourth man. Who knows? No, fifth. Am I missing? I don't know.
Yeah, they got like 7 tight ends now too.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Yeah. So
Bryson Hopkins was drafted there to go with Everett and Higbee. So
Goff does throw the ball. There's a lot of attempts there. So maybe if they get a lot of actual receptions and he has more time to throw the ball, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see that offense and see how things kind of turn out and see how they adjust.
Some make or break year for this offensive group, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of touchdowns that Gurley had to replace. You got to give them somebody. They're not all going to Henderson
makers. No,
for sure. Brown still there.
I hope not too many are going to Brown and Henderson, but Henderson might take a few.
Yeah, so I think their offense will shift a little bit. It'll be interesting to see. This will be interesting to see if Jacob Eason plays this year. I don't think he will. I don't know. Who knows? I think it's possible. He's behind his Rivers.
Phillip Rivers is not a impenetrable wall at a quarterback anymore, but
now we do have a bit
Jacoby Brissett's still there though. Now
we have Ty. You're no confidence in this man at all. You don't think he can throw the ball at all. Just kidding. I'm at 35th. I joke. Nick, you have him at 22. I'm at 24. So me and Nick are on the higher echelon here for him. We're Jay and Ty in the low 30s, a little bit 30s. So that's a bit of a gap there.
I was actually surprised you guys had him ahead of Jalen Hurts. Myself, just Jalen Hurts, second round pick. Like we've mentioned a million times while recording even tonight. Dynasty situations can change. Obviously, Carson Wentz is in front of Jalen Hurts. We'll talk about him more, I guess, in 2 or 3 picks. But for Jacob Eason, it was just I don't know. Like, how much does anybody believe in him? How much does the Colts even believe in him? He was a 4th-round pick. I think he fell there for a reason. He might have a chance to start some games in his career. But if he does become a starter for a small stretch of time, how much fantasy impact do you really see him having?
A lot. Short. I'm just kidding. Well, I have him at Hurts. No, actually, I like you mentioned Hurts. I have him like in the same, like 24 and 25. So yeah. I'm either ranking them both a little bit high than I should, but I definitely have them together, kind of in the same spot. If one's not available, I'm just taking the other one. So.
And I will say, as far as like NFL landing spots go, I think the Colts is probably one of the best spots he could have landed.
Yeah, maybe
a chance to learn behind 2 veteran quarterbacks, great offensive line if he does start in a couple of years. I see why people would be interested, but
that
4th-round quarterback, I don't know.
Is that it, Nick? For us, is that do you think that's the landing spot in the O-line that maybe put him a little bit higher?
It is for me, anyways. I mean, he wasn't a quarterback that I absolutely loved his tape, but I do really love his landing spot. And in Superflex, QB is often king, so I expect him to go pretty high, probably in the 2nd round, late 2nd, early 3rd for a lot of Superflex drafts.
I think this for me just kind of shows how I feel about the quarterbacks in this draft. Like I said, there's 2 that I love, and there's a couple that I'm okay with. I like Jordan Love's potential far more than Jacob Eason. Jacob Eason, I think, landed in a better situation, especially from a learning perspective. Jalen Hurts was one of my favorite quarterbacks coming into the draft. He's behind Carson Wentz. We've seen what quarterbacks behind Carson Wentz could do. And
he's just going to go ahead and win a Super Bowl, isn't he?
Exactly. You call it this year, Ty. Philly wins the Super Bowl with a rookie Jalen Hurts at quarterback. But Jalen Hurts, I think, is a better quarterback. Jacob Eason, for me, he's the vanilla ice cream of quarterbacks. I'm really not that excited about
sandwich.
him. Landing spot is good, but other than that, I mean, he went up a bit for me because of landing spot.
Yeah, you got him pretty close to Hurts. You got 30, then 31. I think then Ty 30.
Hurts I wanted to put a little higher. There was I don't know. The landing spot for me, the draft capital spent says a lot. I just don't know if I like my quarterbacks. Like I made the joke earlier about Nick's boy there. I like my
Jordan
quarterbacks
Love
to play before 2025, and with Carson Wentz's contract right now, depending on if they move on from him or if he gets hurt and he's in and out of injuries, then for me, he's a guy that's gonna be on my bench that I might be able to throw in if there's an injury.
Yep.
Yeah. If I own Carson Wentz, though, I mean Jalen Hurts is a nice.
No brainer.
Nice backup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was sort kind of point where I'm starting to lose a little bit of interest on the running back, wide receivers. I think that's why I have a couple of these guys. If I haven't taken those quarterbacks at the beginning, which I'm clearly not, I'm probably taking one of these guys just to be safe. I have a quarterback. It's not exactly the best, but there is a little potential upside there. But I haven't completely lost interest. So definitely not in the next couple of guys. Actually, I like both of these guys. I think we all do. Anthony McFarland Jr. Landed in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we have averaged him out to a 28. And looks like, again, me and Nick really kind of don't, we're definitely different on this one. 27. I have him at 22nd, and then Nick, you have him at 36. So I did feel I had him a little bit high because I like him. I like the landing spot. I think maybe it's a little bit of it, if not a lot of it. So I think it's a good spot for him, and I love the talent. I think he's has a pretty bright future. What, Nick, what don't you like? Is it something he said? You have him at 36?
No, I mean, I really like McFarland's tape when I was studying him, pre-draft and stuff like that. And I don't mind his landing spot either. I mean, I know he's a little bit buried right now in Pittsburgh, but that's a running back depth chart that could quickly change. The Pittsburgh has not shown any confidence in James Conner. Benny Snell has been who he is. So there's going to be some opportunities there, but he fell where he was for me. And that's all I think can explain it.
I think you're right. There's an opportunity there, and I think I'm probably just more optimistic about that opportunity. I'm not saying realistic, but I'm talking optimistic that all of a sudden he can not tomorrow or the next day, but out of all that backfield, he kind of eventually emerges from it, maybe. But again, I'm optimistic, not realistic.
I think it's realistic. I think it's realistic that they move on from James Conner. I think it's realistic that James Conner misses 6 or 7 games in a season. I think Anthony McFarland's in a great spot. I love the landing spot personally. I'll take any running back in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
especially behind an injury-prone running back and Benny fucking Snell.
Snell, my boy.
And
Snelly.
Jalen Samuels, who's probably better served at tight end.
Yeah, he's
Actually-
not really a running back.
Yeah. He put up
Not
some
really a
fantasy
tight
points,
end either,
though.
but
Samuel, he put up some fantasy points here and there, but that's
yeah,
it's hard to
it
say.
worked out really well when he was a starting running back, and you could actually play him in as a tight end in Yahoo leagues. That was really nice.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
nice.
okay.
I like that.
Okay, cool. So it's be interesting to see what happens there, the backfield of Pittsburgh. Another interesting pick in Washington, D.C., Antonio Gandy Golden. Kind of excited for that. I think that's probably one of the best landing spots for him, despite the quarterback situation. But again, it's dynasty. It's anything can happen. Where do we have this guy ranked here? 32, 33. Again, Ty and Jay very close. Nick, you're big on this guy at 23. I'm pretty big on him at 28. What is it, Nick? Again, I'll go back to you. You like this guy? Is it landing spot? Because there's a number 2 spot. There's a path to targets there. You have enough confidence in Haskins. Garbage time, maybe get some points there. Are all those things? Anything else?
I think it's because, sorry to interrupt you, Nick. I think it's because Antonio Gandy Golden and Nick were both gymnasts growing up. Nick is still a practicing gymnast. I think
that
that's
connection.
what it was.
No, Dave, you pretty much nailed it. I absolutely love the landing spot. I mean, outside of Terry McLaurin, there's really nothing on that offense. I mean, we know that they drafted Gibson as well, but there's a pretty big opportunity there. He has a prototypical, WR1 makeup, very athletic kid. I really like the landing spot. I have him as number 11 wide receiver, I think, in my dynasty rankings right now. Yeah, I like it.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and we'll say let's not write off Haskins just yet.
He's young.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, he's very
young.
young. He had a really good college pedigree, and his last couple of weeks, he was actually. I mean, the numbers didn't look great, but if you actually watched him play, there were some actually fairly smart plays. And Terry McLaurin did pretty well as a wide receiver from fantasy perspective. I don't know if he can support 2 guys, but it's potential that he can. Let's not completely write the kid off yet.
Definitely. I'm curious to see that one. Excellent. Jalen Hurts, we don't really need to talk about him. We've confirmed that he will win the Super Bowl next year when Wentz goes down in week 9.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. KJ Hamler is the next on the list. And this is an interesting one.
Yeah, he's low here. Huh?
Well, he's 27 for me and Jay. I think this is the first time we've maybe agreed on somebody, possibly. Yep. And Ty, you almost got it right at 26. Almost, so close. Nick, you completely despise this individual.
Every fiber of his being, apparently.
Obviously, he's probably your 41, 42. Probably
around there. Yeah.
We all have a few of those guys for sure. I guess I can see. Maybe you can confirm this where you're coming from. It's they got Judy, they got Sutton. Is that kind of it? Is just kind of a little too congested.
That's pretty much what it is. It's not like I mean I really liked his tape before the draft, but he landed in a situation where he's like the third or fourth. I mean, Deshaun. Who's the other guy there?
Deshaun Hamilton.
Deshaun Hamilton.
Oh, yes, right. Hamilton. Forgot about
that guy. Yeah. He has to pass him on the depth chart. Those are
2 tight ends.
3 young wide receivers, 2 young tight ends. I mean, I do like Drew Lock as well, but I think just his path to targets just isn't going to be there. It's not like there's older wide receivers there, like in Philly with Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar, if he's even there.
Oh, yeah. My boy.
Whatever he is. So I just don't see a clear path to targets.
Nor should you. You don't. You should.
With Noah Fant, Albert O.
I have him outside 100%. The top 40.
I think Jay said one quick injury and boom, he's right up there in the depth chart now.
Thanks for taking my talking point away.
I did.
That was last week. That was last week too. But
that was going to be my talking point too. So.
He's one quick injury away from being right up that depth chart. And they spent they drafted him 46th overall.
2nd round pick.
They didn't draft him for no reason. I think he moves up the depth chart fairly quickly. Targets are going to be a bit of an issue, but those things sort themselves out over time. For me, it's betting on talent for a guy, and I think he's a late 2nd, early 3rd round pick.
Yeah. I thought I had him fairly low at 26, 27. Mm-hmm. But, if he's still sitting there at that point, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
He's a 2nd round pick, and the guy's super fast. He could be a big play guy, somebody they can, even if he just ends up being a guy they can kind of throw into your lineup and plug and play every now and then.
Yeah, it is hard to say. I see Nick because I felt when I ranked him at 27, I think I might be a little bit high. I think I don't know, but you know what? I'll go with it and see. And remember what CJ, I listened to you. I listened, and you did mention that last week. So yeah, that's a tough one to read. So I'll be curious to see what happens there.
This one you're betting on talent, Dave. You're betting on talent. You're betting on draft spot. That's the key in this one, I think.
Yeah, if you're looking at situation, then yeah, Nick's probably got the right spot. So it's tough. It's really tough to say.
It is.
I might end up with like 5 or 6 shares. This guy I might end up with 0. I have no idea.
It's hard to say.
Yep.
Duvernay, Devin is his first name. Duvernay landed in Baltimore with the Ravens. He's obviously 29, 30, 37. Okay, so you three guys all have him in 29, 30. I had him a little bit lower. Again, we're getting to the point like we mentioned earlier. A bit of a crapshoot. These guys could be, again, one injury away or themselves getting hurt. It's just so many different factors that can happen that can quickly move them up or down in the rankings. Really hard to say. I wish all the best for Devin. I really do. But he's nothing higher than the 37 guys, I'm afraid. I got this right. But, I mean, anybody want to talk about this guy? I really got nothing to say.
He's got Hollywood Brown ahead of him. That's enough said for me.
Yeah.
For me, I think he has the potential and the talent to push him for touches, man. I like the Baltimore offense. I like Lamar Jackson as a quarterback. For me, he's the perfect guy to take at the start of the third round.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's a good sweet spot.
He's a high upside guy. I remember like when I was watching him initially, when we started doing our first rookie episodes around Christmas time, I thought this might be a kick return guy in the NFL. I don't know if he really had the talent.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then you see him bust off plays. I think he could be a big play guy. Obviously, Hollywood Brown's there for that. But in the Baltimore offense, he could be interesting. He's a home run pick in the third round, I think.
Yeah. So like a kick return guy that might make the odd big play. Okay, interesting. I like that.
Yeah, and then it could obviously move into something a bigger role going forward. Miles Boykin will probably be the big receiver outside of the tight ends there, but I think Duvernay could challenge for big plays, and Baltimore's got a pretty creative offense.
That is true.
I'm going to pick up a couple shares of him. I think he's worth a lottery ticket for sure.
Cool.
I have him kind of ranked where he is because I don't think the wide receiver situation is settled in Baltimore. I don't think anyone's really grabbed a hold of that offense and said, I'm the number one guy. Feed me the ball. I'm the number one wide receiver.
Yeah.
So that's why I have Duvernay ranked where he is, around 30.
Give him a chance, gets hot. Who knows?
See, that's what I was trying to say, but I just was too busy looking at my next background and I said stupid things. But what Nick said, exactly what Nick said.
Yeah. Nick nailed that one.
Nailed it, buddy.
Ignore the first 5 minutes of this. Just listen to what Nick said now.
Well, a blind squirrel finds a net every now and again, right?
So the next two guys, Nick and I should probably take the next hour, I think, to discuss them.
Oh God.
Oh fuck me.
I'll be back. I go take a bath.
Yeah.
It's tight end time, boys.
Yeah, it is tight end. These guys in purple. Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet, and I'll put them together. Cole Kmet, because there are only two guys. They're ranked.
I'm stepping out if you guys are in tight ends.
All I can see is Dan DeVito's top of his bald head right now. Can you show me his beautiful body? You should have got the one where he's coming out of the couch.
Is he King Kong Bundy? Is he King Kong Bundy? What's going on?
I'm gonna step out and let you guys talk about fucking tight ends here.
All right, let's talk about fucking tight ends. We got Cole Kmet,
We'll be brief.
Respectively coming in at 32, 33, 34, and around there. I think we all have. Hold on. No, I'm correct. I am incorrect. I should have seen this one coming. Nick, you have Trotman higher than Kmet. We have Kmet higher. The rest of us, I mean, not huge differences, but yours is 10 position difference, 27 and 37 in favor of Adam Trotman. You are a patient man, Nick. That's something we have learned from you. I respect that. I really do.
Thank you.
So who wants to start off? Again, me and Ty are just going to kind of just quietly fade into the background.
We're going to take like 30 seconds each here. Like, in reality, these are the only two tight ends that I'm super interested in potentially drafting. I doubt I'd even draft either of them, in all honesty. Tight ends take a lot of patience, and none of these guys really jump off the board as like year 1, year 2, year 3 guys even. Chicago has probably... Well, the Chicago Bears changed their name to the Chicago Tight Ends because half of their team makeup is fucking tight ends at this point. I like Cole Kmet a lot. I think he can see the field. I think he's a decent enough blocker to be on the field. He's probably the best tight end in Chicago of the 10 they have. Adam Trotman I like a lot, actually. I think he's Nick really wasn't thinking much about him, and Nick kind of turned me on to him quite a bit. And my only issue is the Taysom Hill signing. I don't think they signed him to be their next quarterback. I think they signed him to be their gadget player / tight end. Yeah, Ty, that's perfect.
There we go.
So I like both these guys. If they're available in the 4th round, I'd be more likely to take them. I just kind of wanted to put them closer to what consensus was. I really don't see myself in this draft taking a tight end when there's so many good wide receivers and running backs still left on the board.
Yeah, that's very good points. Yeah.
Nick, would you like to talk about how I turned you on to Cole Kmet and then maybe take a second and talk about Adam Trotman?
I think 5-6.
Yeah, there's no question that Jay, you helped sway me to the Cole Kmet love, and
you ranked him
always
this
go
time,
back-
buddy. You ranked him.
I
That's a win for me, man. That's a win.
It is. I mean, I talked
37, but yeah, he did.
I talked about this months ago, on guys that I'm way too low on. I tend to always go back and review their tape, that everyone else loves them. So, I mean, he grew on me a little bit. It also helps that he was the first tight end drafted in the NFL draft. But like Jay's kind of alluding to, these are not guys that, unless you're in a tight end premium league,
Absolutely.
you're not taking these guys until probably the 4th round. But I don't mind taking them late 3rd. I mean, both of them have an opportunity to potentially be top 20 tight ends, and that's a starting tight end on your fantasy team. That tight end might start, 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks out of the year, and that might be better than the number 35 wide receiver in dynasty rankings who may just be on your bench and never get an opportunity to play. So tight ends score fantasy points too. If they end up hitting, great. If they don't, you're probably not investing too much draft capital in them. But those are the only 2 guys that we suggest investing in.
Now, not to draw this out too long, I'm just going to read you a poem I wrote about Cole Kmet. Not to draw this out too long. Nick, are you concerned about the contract Taysom Hill just signed in New Orleans?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Are you concerned at all about the contract Taysom Hill just signed in New Orleans? Does that factor into any Trotman negativity toward for you?
No, not too much. I think I was confused that they gave him so much money and then they've invested in Winston as well. So I don't really know what's going to happen there.
Well, Taysom Hill's a tight end, I think, at this point. A tight end / running back.
Yeah.
But he plays special teams. He plays quarterback.
He's amazing.
He's a wide receiver. Yeah, he is a do-it-all guy, so I can maybe understand why they're paying him. But I don't think so. Does he take away targets from Jared Cook right now? Not really.
No.
So I think Troutman eventually will surpass Cook, or Cook will be retired or gone, and Troutman will fill that number 1 tight end role. I'm not too worried about Taysom Hill in that regard.
Good. Yeah. All right. Question, answer. Love it. All right. Well, these next few guys are all guys you didn't think were as good as drafting a tight end. You thought taking the tight ends were more important than these guys. And some of these guys aren't even ranked by some of us. So we're going to go through them. We're not going to spend too much time because they're losers. Just kidding. I kid.
I just realized Ty had Cole Kmet 1 spot higher than I did.
Oh, really?
He now
holy shit. I'll send you my Cole Kmet Booster Club membership.
So now I have to.
You're taking over the reins.
Me not wearing a shirt and reading poems to him.
Yes. Yes. Also, Ty, I already paid for the Crazy for Cole Kmet, but it's all spelled with K's website. I don't know what to do with it at this point, but it's definitely problematic.
You can probably skip that. Yeah,
put one backwards to be fine. Put one backwards to be fine.
Okay.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Okay, Joshua Kelly. Let's just quickly go over this. I did not rank him personally. He was just outside of my Rick D's top 40. Nick had him at 26. You're big. I know you've talked about him. You've talked a lot. You've talked way too much about him, in my honest opinion, because I don't even rank the fucker. But no, he's he did have a pretty good landing spot. I'll give you that. But he just didn't make it for me. Ty, Jace, you have him in the 36, 35. Anything you guys want to talk about with this fine young man? I don't, clearly.
No, I think let Nick talk about him maybe. I was probably a bit too low on him.
Yeah.
Landing spot was good. I didn't love anything about his tape. I think he's a replacement level running back at best.
Okay.
But maybe we'll let Nick talk about him because Nick actually likes the guy.
After you shit on him.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm sick of it.
Hey, man, I just had this ice cream cone up my ass. You want a lick?
Kelly put him in.
I really like his tape. The Senior Bowl, he played really well. I mean, he's a guy that maybe he's like Ty kind of said, he may fill in a role as a guy who could be a starting running back, but he's not an elite talent. But that's not what we're looking for when you're drafting your running back 9, 10, 11 in this dynasty rookie draft. You're looking for a guy with some opportunity. And that's what I see with the Chargers. I mean, Eckler isn't going anywhere. He's going to get a lot of touches. But I think Kelly's in a position where he could get touches rather quickly. So that's why I have him ranked the way I do.
Fair enough. Next on this, Darrington Evans. He kind of stuck in there for me at 35. This one, Nick, you did not rank. And Ty, you're biggest on this guy at 31. Are you crazy or what? Okay.
Yeah, probably. Man.
I'm just kidding. Again, we're digging pretty deep here, defining good pros and cons about these guys. But
No, I think with Darrington Evans, he's probably never going to be a thing for fantasy. But there's a chance that he is. He's super fast, undersized running back. I think he actually is a nice compliment in Tennessee right now with Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. And I think no matter what direction Tennessee goes after this season, I think there's enough capital in Evans that they want to give him a role. Mm-hmm. And I can see him having a pass catching role no matter what. So if you're in a full PPR league, I think he's totally worth betting on. Even in a half PPR, I think he's probably worth a 3rd round pick.
Okay.
And just kind of see what happens with him. He looked pretty good. I think he played in Appalachian State. Like it wasn't a huge program or anything, but I did like what I saw out of him there.
Good. Well, he's happy to hear that.
I agree with what Ty says.
Good. Let's leave it at that then.
Nice analysis, Jay.
Thank you. Well, I mean, you pretty much said it all. I mean, he's definitely behind a pretty good running back, but his skill set is not something that's going to take away from Derrick Henry. It's going to add to Derrick Henry's game. He's a quick guy who can catch a pass. Those guys always have a job in the NFL, and sometimes they turn into James White. Sometimes they turn into a non-injured Chris Thompson.
Yeah. But their job typically isn't winning fantasy championships.
I mean, Dion Lewis was pretty usable for a couple of years.
He was.
I could see him being that type of back.
I traded him and got 14.
Oh, here we go again.
This story.
Somehow was Farrell Cooper also? Was Farrell Cooper also in that deal there?
Oh, you jinxed it. Now we won't mention him.
No, you know what you're talking about. It's all fucking Austin, boys. All right. Next, I never say this guy's last name correct. I always call it Perrine, and I know I'm wrong. Nick, you always say it right, or maybe you're wrong and I'm right. What's his name?
LaMichael Pirine.
Pirine.
Yeah. Samaje Pirine.
Samaje Pirine.
His cousin. But I'm from. I think it's French. Perrine.
When I look at Pirine, though, the one thing I come back to, Adam Gase never wanted Lev Bell with the Jets.
He didn't. That's clear.
So I think there's some opportunity there. I mean, he did come out and say we're pretty happy with. We now have a really good 1-2 punch, and he's the clear number 2 behind Lev Bell. And Bell has had some injury issues. He's probably not going to hold out again because he knows that he's not going to win there. But he's a nice handcuff. Really, is what we're looking at. I mean, it's no different than Madison when he was drafted by the Vikings. It's a similar situation and a situation with opportunity. And that's where I see his ranking right now. He's a 4th round dynasty pick.
Maybe the coach will start him just out of spite because he doesn't like Bell. Just out of spite, he's going to start him.
It is Adam Gase. He might do that.
Yeah. You get some spite points in fantasy. Who knows? Yeah, I can see. That's a good point, Nick. Perfect. I didn't even thought of that because I didn't rank him. I feel terrible about that.
I actually moved him up a little bit based on landing spot.
Cool. What'd you do with Donovan Peoples-Jones, Ty? That's what I want to know.
I moved him down because it sucked. He went to the 6th round.
Yeah, right. True. Me and Nick.
I moved him out of my top 40.
Yeah. I like the talent, love the player, but just the fact he dropped to the 6th round, that kind of hurt.
And to Cleveland.
Even the hits on Casey Kasem's top 40, eventually they fall out of the top 30. It happens. And it's happened to Donovan.
Anyone born after 1984 has no idea what Dave's talking about.
I only know who Casey Kasem is from Saved by the Bell.
I know.
I feel like there's a lot of people that are probably.
I only know who he is because whenever he says his name, I gotta say it. Casey Kasem.
Are you telling me there's no 40-year-old people that do dynasty or do fantasy football?
Oh no, I just said anyone born after 1984.
I like to think we're hitting a majority of the audience, but
Dave, I'm almost 40.
Okay, you'll enjoy, buddy. Enjoy. That's right. End of June 20th.
No, a year.
23rd.
I'm 39 in June 20th.
Oh, but I did get the date right.
Did you want to give out my SIN number while you're at it?
We'll give you
my
his
mother's maiden name
and the street he grew up on, just so you can get everything.
All right, Lynn Spoden.
Well, Donovan Peoples-Jones, though, like you guys want to talk about him at all?
No.
Yeah,
I think he belongs in the top 40. He just slipped out for me, but I love him.
Yeah, I love his tape as well.
As a prospect, just not top 40.
Getting mixed signals from you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the landing spot's underrated, and I mean, I still wonder if, I mean, maybe something happens where, I mean, if you look at the Cleveland situation, they've invested a lot of money. Someone's going to not end up being there. Maybe that ends up being Odell Beckham down the line, Jarvis Landry. Someone is going to end up off that team relatively soon. And I love Peoples-Jones' tape. I loved his tape so much. So I do think he's a really nice dynasty stash in the 4th round. Grab him, throw him on your bench, leave him there, hope that it marinates into something nice. And
yeah, I like that a lot. I had Peoples-Jones as like a 3rd round actual NFL draft prospect.
Yeah.
So him dropping to the 6th, that hurt obviously, but I think there's a ton of upside there still.
All right. Lynn Bowden Jr. He is a running back, quarterback, wide receiver, LOL. What's that position? Left outside linebacker? He's in Las Vegas. So let me see. He barely made my top 40. Nick said the heck with this fella. Ty got him 34. Jay got him 37. So I think he went a little bit lower, I think, in the draft than we thought.
Wasn't he picked ahead of? He was picked ahead of Edwards, though.
He went higher.
Oh, they're together. That's right. They were like, they were back-to-back picks, I think. Eh?
Yeah, he went higher, and I thought I just don't know what to do with him. I don't know. Is he a running back? I think he might be now. I think that's where they plan to use him. And I don't know if that hurts him or if that's good.
Maybe he's the next Cordell Stewart / 2.0. Who knows?
I think maybe he's the next Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. We'll hear that.
I think my issue why I have him outside the top 40 is I wasn't huge on Edwards, and I don't see a lot of targets for him. I don't see how I can envision a lot of targets and opportunity for Bowden. I love Jacobs there. So
yeah,
maybe he becomes the pass catching back, and that just kills Jacobs. Though unfortunately, like that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I think it's possible. Okay,
I like his talent. I like his speed. Like he kind of got fucked by taking one for the team and playing quarterback last year.
Yeah,
hurt his development just a little bit.
He might be a better quarterback than Derek Carr, though. So who knows?
Yeah.
Ty, come on now, buddy.
I might be a better quarterback than Derek Carr. Who knows?
Yeah, you got a pretty decent arm, Jay.
I do. I can hurl it.
Hurl it.
I have no idea where it's going. Just like like Derek Carr, but I can hurl it.
It's not super accurate, but he can get downfield.
I've seen you
Josh
throw.
Allen tendencies there.
I've seen you throw, Jay. It's not as bad as Trubisky. I'll give you that.
Yeah, definitely not as bad.
Let's not talking about Trubisky now.
No, I like Lynn Bowden. I think for me, he's a lottery ticket. You don't know what he's going to be yet. You don't know. They obviously drafted him 80th overall for a reason. They drafted him probably because they're going to design some plays around him. He might be a gadget guy. I'm hoping he's not a gadget guy. I'm hoping he has a defined role. Maybe plays a little bit of wide receiver. Maybe does a little wildcat. Maybe he's the pass catching back for Jacobs. I don't own any Josh Jacobs shares, so that wouldn't hurt me. So I'll go for it, John Gruden. I know you're listening.
Maybe it takes the Jalen Richard role and also lines up as a wide receiver sometimes. That would definitely have some value if you can start him as a flex in PPR.
Sounds like we're really digging here to get some value to this guy, guys.
No, I think Bowden's intriguing, man. Bowden actually gets me a little excited, Dave.
All right. I'm buying it. All right. He's going up in my rankings already. All right. Jake from Buffalo. Apparently, I think Nick, you mentioned that he that Buffalo.
What's the burger
drafted...
of the day, Jay? What's the burger of the day?
Okay. Oh man.
Jake Fromm.
Maybe you could chive my car.
Wait, Jake Fromm's on this list?
No, he's not. That was 40. That was number 40. Jake Fromm he didn't make it on the list technically, Dave.
Oh, you're right.
He's 41.
So I thought he deserved mentioning.
So to round out our list, just for an idea, we have a couple of guys that were ranked, but they were ranked so poorly that it doesn't matter. Jake Fromm, DJ Dallas, KJ Hill, Tyler Johnson, Colin Johnson, Gabriel Davis, and Eno Benjamin. All of us either ranked at 40, or a couple guys ranked him at 39. A couple people ranked him outside their top 40. That's why they didn't hit the list. So if you want to take like 2 minutes and we'll just touch on these guys briefly, that might be the way to finish it.
Yeah. All right.
Sounds good.
Enough about Jake Fromm. Unless somebody wants to win.
Nick has him at 35.
That's right. Yeah, I know. Just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, I assume, Ty, you're going to draft Jake Fromm because you don't believe that Josh Allen can stay healthy. So
I didn't say that.
That was me.
I'm not sure if Josh Allen will stay healthy, but I'm still not drafting Jake Fromm.
Yeah.
It's like we were talking about certain quarterbacks being, maybe they're like, oh, they're like, this guy's like vanilla ice cream. Jake Fromm is like fucking ice cubes.
Cucumber sandwich.
Someone forgot to put the sugar in that ice cream. That's noted about that.
Like, I have no interest in Jake Fromm.
No.
I think he might play some games. He might even start some games. I don't want him on my fantasy team though.
But don't you need ice cubes? Isn't it always good to have ice cubes in your freezer at all times?
Have you ever had A&W root beer? It's perfectly delicious, and they don't put ice cubes in it.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We're gonna revisit that another time. But
For me, Fromm will never be a fantasy asset. He'll be someone that you can play if, for instance, you own Jake Allen. Like if you own Jake Allen, yeah, it makes a little sense to draft Jake Fromm because then you have his backup potentially. But outside of a handcuff, quarterback, that's
to me. It's kind of like a Mason Rudolph type. Like I don't see. He might start for a while at some point in his career. I don't see a ton of value though.
No.
I think he's a better real life player, and I'm glad the Bills drafted him as a Bills fan.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's ever fantasy value there.
I don't have any issue with that.
Oh, okay.
Other than Jay calling Josh Allen Jake.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna call him out on it.
My
Yeah,
bad.
Jake Allen was pretty good too, though.
Yeah.
Jake, yeah, come on.
Come on.
I was,
Yes, Jake
I was
Allen, you gotta have
complimenting
Fromm.
Josh.
Come on. It's a no-brainer. All right, here's a guy who
CJ Dallas.
DJ Dallas. 39, 37, 38. I didn't take the time to even rank this guy. I think he was like my
Handcuff.
handcuff. Oh yeah, Seattle.
Zeke Elliott. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Handcuff for
Carson.
Seattle. Chris Carson and Rashad Penny handcuff.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Zeke Elliott one day, according to Jay.
And
That's
Zeke
something.
Elliott one day. I'm sorry. I was talking to Smiley Pete. He told me they were going after Zeke.
DJ Dallas might have a chance to play just because of injuries of the two guys ahead of him. No problem taking him in the 4th round, 5th round of rookie drafts, probably 4th round of rookie drafts.
Yeah, you might even get him as a free agent.
I think he goes, but yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Looks like you guys fell asleep at the wheel with KJ Hill. All right.
I actually agree. I think we did.
Yep.
I like that.
He is an American football player, the Los Angeles Chargers. Yeah, he went to high school in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Played college football at Ohio State. He's 22 years old.
Someone's reading Wikipedia.
Yeah. He has parents, Keith and Deidre.
Are you reading his Bumble profile there, Dave?
He does not bumble. It's Grindr.
Actually, on Bumble, you can switch it to BFF, and I thought it would still be women. Then it turns out it's all guys.
No, women
I have
do
a
not.
best friend.
Women do not want to be your friend, Dave. You know this.
I thought maybe I could get away with like, I don't want to date you. I just kind of want to be your friend and fuck you. But it's all
advice.
and I had to quickly,
You might be on the
change
wrong
it
side.
back. I had to change it back
You might be
quickly
on the
because
wrong
it's
side.
getting late.
So
You are the
KJ
reason this has to exist for women.
Yeah.
For the 10 listeners that are still listening right now, we apologize.
So KJ Hill, 7th round draft capital scares the shit out of me. I loved his landing spot. Had he gone in the 3rd or 4th round or 5th round even, I would have thought maybe he'd have a better chance. But 7th round picks aren't usually given too much of a leash. He could end up as the starting slot receiver there, though.
Yeah, I honestly thought he would be like a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
Like love his tape. It was in Ohio State, right? Enjoyed that quite a bit. Thought he was going to go fairly high. 7th round. 7th round actually was shocking to me.
So would you consider that a steal for the Chargers? They're
I was
getting
like,
him-
oh,
I would, for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
call the police.
Okay, we'll see. I'm gonna keep my eyes on him. Tyler Johnson, I think me and Ty ranked him just at the end of our list there. Again, there's a lot of mouths to feed there in Tampa Bay. I think we both like his talent.
Like the player, the landing spot with Godwin
Yeah.
Evans is tough.
I still want to put him in there because things can change.
Things change, right? Yeah.
Yeah, things change. People change, right? Colin Johnson, Jacksonville. Who ranked this guy? Ironically, it was Nick ranking a Jacksonville wide receiver. He's going to take all LaVisca's targets. Is that right?
Nick probably prefers him over Laviska Shenault.
Maybe he does. Yeah. So
I
that-
do. I didn't have the heart to rank him ahead of Chanel.
that would have been funny.
Nick's probably paying him to crowbar Chenault's kneecap.
Yeah.
Little Tony Harding situation.
Kenny Hart, yeah, those are good, simpler times back then. Good times. Cool.
Just he might have an opportunity. My only thought was that he may have an opportunity there at some point. That was it.
Yeah. I like Colin
Possible.
Johnson too.
Possible. Gabriel Davis, I really wanted him in my top 40. I really, really did.
He's a guy I wanted to like him a lot more than I really could. When I looked at like his straight line speed, his size, I thought this could be a really good wide receiver. And then you watch more tape and you just think this guy's pretty limited.
Yeah.
The first couple of glances, he looks great. I think kind of think the Bills reached on him in the 4th round.
Yeah. After the opening
the NFL draft, unfortunately.
It's not good.
But who knows? Maybe he ends up being a
All-star.
competent wide receiver. You never know.
I have him at 40 based on a few things. Draft capital, he was in the 4th round, and Beasley's older. I mean, so is John Brown. So maybe
Smokey Brown,
so maybe he can ascend the depth chart. But I actually I said this before, I liked Isaiah Hodgins' tape more than I did Gabriel Davis.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like him about the same.
I just don't like the tape. But at number 40, it's not a bad dart throw.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you just watch 2 or 3 games, he looks fantastic. But if you watch the entire
stop there, you'll have him
entire route tree every game. It's
There's another guy I really like too that didn't make the list is Quintez Cephas.
Yeah,
close
for me.
I couldn't put him in my top 40. It was tough, but he's definitely a smart hold. Maybe a guy draft at the end, or maybe pick him up off waivers if your league isn't savvy enough, and put him in your taxi squad and kind of wait for the future.
I'll be honest. I had him at 40. I just wasn't sure how to pronounce his name, and I was the only one that had him. So I knew you guys would call me out on it, so I deleted it.
There you go.
But actually, it's not
Colin
a bad
Johnson, who sounds like he sells you fucking insurance.
It's not a bad take on Quintez Cephas because I mean Marvin Jones is older, and I think Cephas was one of the top wide receivers in contested catch percentage or something like that. So. I mean, he's a little bit buried right now, but there's an opportunity there. I don't mind him.
There's opportunities for all these guys. It's just
absolutely.
They take him. Now, this next guy, our last guy on the list,
Colin Johnson, State Farm.
This guy fell, I think, on all of our lists. This last guy, Jay, if you're listening.
Yeah, I got him.
3 people are listening. Eno Benjamin, I think he fell for everybody, but Jay, he clinged on. He clinged on to your top 40, buddy. Yeah,
he's a running back that I liked his tape in college. I thought he was a good running back. He ended up in a pretty good situation. He doesn't have to move. It's a quick U-Haul away to Arizona. Yeah. And there's the path to targets ahead of him isn't that tough. They have a running back that is, not. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy him, but what's his name?
That's a weird thing to say.
Are we talking about Bumble again?
Kenyon Drake. So Kenyon Drake. I like Kenyon Drake, who knows where he's going to be in the next couple of years, and the path to targets ahead of Eno Benjamin is pretty minimal. Or path to touches.
Yeah, Eno Benjamin, if he was taken like the 4th round, started the 4th, even ended the 3rd, I wouldn't have been shocked. I was really surprised to see him fall to the 7th round.
I just had a hard time taking him off my board.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Let it go. I get that.
I like that. I think I had him at 40 for better part of the last week, and he's 41 for me now. So,
and I think we've seen a lot of UDFA running backs hit the league and do quite well. He was still drafted.
Philip Lindsay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Arian Foster.
Yeah.
Arian Foster. He was okay
Chris
back in the
Carson?
day. Yeah.
Who's UDFA?
There's some big names. That just goes to show you. Who the fuck knows?
No one, Dave. Especially not.
We do.
We know.
We do. That's why you're listening.
Terrell Davis in the 6th round. I think Jamal, who's the guy that was in Atlanta, was a 6th round pick too. Did the Dirty Bird dance all the time whenever he had a touchdown. I can't remember his name right now, but
Dirty Bird Johnson.
I can't remember. It was Jamal
Johnson.
Anderson. Jamal Anderson, I think.
There we go.
It was a 6th round pick as well. So the thing with running backs is that they can fall, they can become UDFAs, and they can become productive fantasy players. So
can come out of nowhere. We've seen guys come out of left field, and all of a sudden they're these amazing. And like Connor, guys like Connor, I didn't really. Maybe it's just me. I just didn't really know much about Connor. Again, I'm not really investing in the long haul anyway, but he was good there for a little bit. So
James, I think he was a 2nd round pick though.
Yeah.
Was he? Yeah. Okay.
And he fell a bit because of health issues. He had cancer when he was in college and stuff, and his production in college was kind of limited based off of that too, right? So
okay, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah. But James Conner, we're sorry that you're going to be off the field this year, and we're going to have a new running back there.
Yeah, McFarland.
Right, McFarland.
That's right. All right, guys, that concludes our list. That's our top 40 list there of our Dynasty Superflex rankings.
Nick showed off his Steph Diggs jersey.
Yeah, that's Steph Diggs. Yeah,
I didn't see
do a
it.
little,
Absolutely.
a little twirl there.
No, I don't have the dexterity. I don't have the.
Okay. No, that's fair. I don't. None of us do. That's for certain. Jay, I've enjoyed your background. It's kind of distracted me a little bit. I like it.
I'm sitting on the Iron Throne now.
It's gone to Game of Thrones now. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what that's from? I haven't seen it.
If I was to describe its comfort level, I'd say spiky.
Spiky. Yeah.
Spiky, but fantastic.
So as Jay mentioned, we'll get probably that out Wednesday ish, right?
No, Wednesday,
Ranking.
Dave.
Wednesday. All right.
I'm not wishy-washy. I'll get it done.
I'll get her done. We still have a Twitter. It's still going. It's still active. It's Dynasty Life _FF. Follow us, do whatever you want, like us, like you. Everyone's so big like fest. DynastyFootballLife.com is our website. Please give us a visit. Thanks for tuning in, fellas. Last we had some disagreements for sure, and some agreements, but it'd be fun. The season's gonna be really exciting. I can't wait.
If it happens.
Draft is if it happens. I'm feeling positive about that. America wants to get things going, and that's good for football, I guess. But draft time. Do you guys have an idea when draft time is a good time to draft these guys?
As soon as the draft is over, anytime after that, you're good to go.
Anytime.
Any serious league, if you're as soon as the draft is over, do it.
The longer,
I know Nick
the
is
longer,
more of a-
Wait until
the
wait
longer
until the
you
draft
wait,
happens.
the longer you wait, the more chances that other people have time to catch up to you.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's true. So
If you
maybe we
haven't
should consider.
drafted yet, draft now.
Well, we haven't drafted yet, so
It's because we're lazy.
we're doing this.
We'll draft soon.
Well, the quicker you draft, the longer you have to wait till actually the season. So there's that kind of, I got my guys now. I want to see them play.
And
I got
second
'em.
guess.
Yeah. So there's that too. So some pros and cons to drafting early or drafting late, but it's definitely an exciting time. We'll be back with our next episode whenever we feel like it. It's we can do that whenever. It's we don't have a set schedule.
Benefit to not getting paid.
Yeah, exactly. That's right, folks. We're not getting paid. But we're gonna have something interesting, I'm sure, for you. Maybe we'll take a break from the rookies. Maybe we haven't come up with something quite yet, but hopefully something of interest, because that's always helps when it's interesting. Just like you three guys are very interesting people. No, okay, we're not.
No, not really.
All right, we better go now before the last listener takes off. Thanks for tuning in, and please join us next time. Stay safe, stay home, and stay great, and all that stuff. Good night.
Good night.
This is the Dynasty Football Live podcast.